So it is shorter than my forehead, but it is not that much shorter. Okay, see, it is not like this, and even my lips are not this much small. If the lower chin is totally missing like this, the pout face, and chin is also half than mine, that person lacks all kinds of self-control in their life. Okay, then as this chin starts growing, he attains more and more self-control. Okay. So, see, in my case, I have specific lack of self-control. Okay, I lose my self-control only on people I am emotionally connected with. I don't lose my self-control with any random people around. Okay, if somebody random person also comes and slaps me, I don't lose my self-control. Okay, but if a person I am emotionally attached with does something wrong, I might lose my self-control. Okay, so this is specific impulsivity. Okay, if it is very short, it is overall impulsivity. Okay, so the chin is very much important. And reverse, people with broader chin and shorter forehead are called like convex concave, like this. This is big, and this is small. Okay, this is small, like this, and this is big, like this. You see the Popeye face? Don't see the emotions which I am showing on the face. Just mark the shape of the face. Look at this. This is convex concave. They are opposite. They are dominant. They are possessive. Because see, now the chin is growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Now if chin is getting bigger than your forehead, you are not only having self-control, now you are also trying to control others. Because this is small. Okay. So bigger the chin, smaller the forehead. You are more dominant, you are more possessive. Okay. So this was the face profiles. Now, first we understood the outline. Now we understood the profile, that is going in depth of the angular face. Okay. First outline was from here. Now the angular face we watched from over here, and we compared the broadness of different sections. Okay. So what do you have to see first? The outline. What do you have to see next? The profile. Okay. After seeing the outline and profile, next we go and see the most important part, that is the forehead. Because forehead is the first house in, or say the major part of ascendant, the first house. Okay. Forehead is very much important. That is why we say over here it is Bhagya Rekha, the destiny. Because you can understand like almost 40 to 50% of the person's life looking at the forehead of the person. How well the forehead is made. What are the aspects like on the forehead? How many lines are there? The curves of the eyebrows, the space between the eyebrows. Okay. So forehead is a very big thing. So next you see is the forehead. Okay. In forehead you see many things. And where would start from? See, straight forehead. First of all, we will talk about straight forehead. See, you can see the straight forehead. Straight forehead is like me. Okay. See, my forehead is all like rectangle. Okay. And we don't consider if the person is having hair loss over here. Okay, because if the person is going to bald, you don't consider the full head is the forehead. No. The forehead is considered from where the hair is begin to start. Okay. And if the person has lost some hair over here, you don't consider this part. You consider the part where the hair starts. Okay, see, my slight hairs are over here. So my basic forehead started from over here. Now if you see, this is the LOC, line of control. See, the LOC comes over here and another LOC comes over here. So if you see, is it rectangle? Yes. So this is a straight forehead. A straight forehead shows that person is a progressive thinker. Okay. So what is a progressive thinker? Progressive thinker is that we think in a progressive line. Okay, like we think about the first stage, then we think about the second stage, then we think about the third stage. Until and unless we have completely understood everything about the second stage, we don't move on to the third stage. Okay, that is a progressive thinker. We don't think like this, wow, like a flowchart. We think 10 things at a time, and then all 10 things remain somewhere. No. A progressive thinker is who progresses in their thought. Okay, that is a progressive thinker. Okay, I must understand everything about my first step, and only then I step further onto the second step. If I think that I have lacked somewhere in thinking and knowing about the first step, I again step back. I want to know everything about the first step, only then I will do the second step. Okay, I want to know everything about the second step, and only then I will move on to the third step. Okay. So the good thing about these people are they are patient. The bad thing is that they lose opportunities sometimes. Okay, I have lost many opportunities sometimes because I think in a progressive manner. Okay, so if an opportunity is there on the third step, but I am not clear about the second step, I don't step to the second and the third step. So as I said, there is a positive and negative sides of every person. So you always must have that acceptance in you, that you must have to accept the positive and negative, both the things. Okay. So that is the problem of a progressive thinker. Until and unless they know everything about one step, they are not going to step next. Okay. So they are perfectionists, but they are slow. Okay. And another thing is progressive people can't work under pressure, because under pressure people who work under pressure, they bounce from step to step. Okay, when pressure comes, they again go to step 3. Then when the pressure is taken off, they again come to step 2. Okay, but progressive thinkers cannot go to the step 3 unless and until they have cleared step 2. Okay, so that is why they are misunderstood many times, and they are very hard to manipulate. Okay, because manipulation is just telling people and making them believe that okay, you have known everything over here, focus over there. Okay, and a progressive thinker cannot focus somewhere else, defocus from their own focus until and unless they have cleared everything in their mind. Okay, so it is very hard to manipulate a progressive thinker, but a progressive thinker is also someone who is misunderstood mostly in their life. Okay, because people think they are impatient, sometimes they are very much patient, sometimes they move on to things, sometimes they stick on to it. It is very hard to comprehend those progressive thinkers. Okay, so the first shape of the forehead was straight forehead, which shows the progressive thinkers. The next is, a sloppy forehead. Okay, a sloppy forehead is like see, consider my hair, sir. Consider this is my forehead. Okay, my forehead is starting from here, which is half of my original forehead. Consider it like that for time being. And my eyebrows, even if I do like this, my eyebrows are over here. Okay, so the distance of my upper limit of my eyebrows and the end of forehead is more in the center, but it is less over here. Okay, like sloppy forehead. Okay, if you see like this, people with this kind of forehead, okay, they have this hair beginning from over here, and their forehead is sloppy. Like over here it is big, now it is getting smaller and smaller. So those are sloppy forehead people, and they are very quick decision makers, but they make very bad decisions at times because they are very quick. They are impatient. Okay, such people with sloppy foreheads are impatient in nature because they need to bounce here and here and here. And what does it do? It makes the people impatient. So now you know the weakness of that person. You ask them to make a decision fast, fast, fast. Come on, where do you want to go? Tell me in 5 minutes in which restaurant you want to go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And they will make a blunder. They will say any restaurant name, and when they reach over there, they will think, oh my god, bloody menu, I don't like anything about this restaurant. And people with straight forehead, if you tell them, come on, select a restaurant, come on, select a, they will take 30 minutes to select a restaurant. But when they go and sit in the restaurant, they are very sure that what they want to eat, which drink they want, how they want to be served, in which chair they want to sit, in which, what is the beverage they would take. They are sure of everything because they have thought. People with sloppy forehead, they are very quick decision makers, but when they reach to the destination, they might do blunders. Okay, I'm not saying they will always do blunders, but they have to work on in being patient. They shouldn't make decisions as fast as they always do. Okay, so those are sloppy forehead people. Okay, those who have bigger forehead over here, and the forehead becomes like this. Okay. And even when the eyebrows are hovered up. Getting it? And another thing about them is they get disinterested very fast in life. Because see, they don't like monogamous. So they need change. They are fast decision makers for a reason. They don't want to stay onto the one part of that life for a long time. They want change. So in the process of change, they get disinterested from the thing they were already having. Okay. So these people are not very good in relationships because they will get easily disinterested. Okay. Even if you see, they would be continuously changing things in their home. Okay. They would be disinterested in watching this. They would get disinterested watching the same home every time. They would be moving this frame from here to there. Then they would be changing the place where the curtain is kept. They would be changing the accessories on their table, the dining table, okay, the desk. They would be changing the desk light over here and there. They would be changing the bed sheet colors. They will change because they get disinterested from things very easily. Okay. Then the fourth one is curved forehead. Curved forehead is like similar to mine, but a shorter forehead. Okay, not this much big. Okay, consider my forehead was like this. Okay, half 3/4 of what the length I am having, but of the similar shape. Okay, it will start ending over here with a curve. Okay, the shape is same. Keep the shape same, but decrease the length. Okay, those are curved shape people. And people with curved forehead are like, they certainly are very good in calculations, but they are a free soul. Okay. The straight aspect of the mind, of the forehead, makes a person a very good calculative person. They always are very good in calculation. But the curviness, okay, it gives them a free soul nature, okay. So that person is a free soul. They don't like to get bound. They don't like restrictions in their life, okay. They like free souls. Okay. So if you try to control a person with curved forehead, okay, I don't know where it would take you. Either they will lie and do whatever they want, or they would just kick you out from your life. Okay. So you can't control people who have a curved forehead. Okay. So if you're wanting to find a wife or a husband or someone, your friend or someone, your business partner, who you want to always dominate and who you want to take charge on, keep authority on, keep a check on, don't select people with curved forehead. Okay, people with curved forehead are not very good in maintaining your control. They are free soul. Mostly the curved faced forehead people are, you will be seen in the artist, film industries, all the people who do all the kind of stuffs which are not very common in the world, because they are free souls. They are literally going to do what they want. Okay, and they are not also like swift imagination. Okay, swift imagination. You see, swift imagination is a very big thing. Like they swift into one imagination. Okay, then again they swift into another imagination. But they are very imaginative. They are very creative and they are artistic. Okay, they can swiftly change their imagination from one point to another point. They can swiftly change their mood. Okay, so if you see a person with lateral forehead, they would be having very tough time in changing mood. Okay, they are very moody. If they get angry, they take like days and weeks and months to take out their anger. But a person with a curved forehead like this, okay, slightly lower, but the shape should be curved like this. Okay, they are very good and easily. If they get angry, like on the next day they are okay. With anger is drowned off. If they are happy, in the next day they are again okay. So this person are very good in their swift imagination, okay, and they are artistic. Okay, they are very good artists and artistic. They might be very good in calculation, but they hate calculation. They hate calculation, no matter they are good at calculation, because they have to use their prefrontal cortex, and they are very good in using their temporal. Okay. So this was forehead. Okay, we understood forehead from the overall facial profile. Now the next thing we come on to is your eyebrows. Okay, eyebrows. Eyebrows are a very big part. See the thickness of eyebrows. See the curves of eyebrows. See the distance between the eyebrows. Okay. See, first of all, if the eyebrows are thick, okay, the more thick the eyebrows are, the more self-confident a person is. The thinner the eyebrows are, the more anxious the person is. Okay, and the person lacks confidence sometimes when they are having very thin eyebrows. There is no self-confidence into the person with very thin eyebrows. But a person with very thick eyebrows are having a very good self-confidence. Okay. They would be having this rigid personality. They would do what they are doing always. Okay. But person with thin eyebrows they are self-questioning. Okay. They always question themselves. Okay. Sometimes it is good also, because it is very good to be a self-critic. Unless and until you be a self-critic, you cannot see a change in yourself. Okay. So thin eyebrows are also very good when you are being a self-critic. But thick eyebrows, the person is not a very good thick self-critic, and they always follow the path they have selected. Okay. So that is the thick eyebrows and thin eyebrows. Then unibrow. You know what is unibrow? Unibrow is like they don't have this curve. They don't have this curve, nor they have this ending like this. You see the ending? Neither the steepness over here. They would also lack the steepness. They would also lose this ending and also this round curve. So basically, even if they hover the eyebrows like this, okay, the eyebrows will not become round. They are going to hover like this, straight eyebrows. Straight eyebrows. See, if I am hovering my eyebrows, they are getting round. Right? See, right now it is straight. See, this is also an important thing to notice. Okay. See, these are straight eyebrows, but if I hover it, they are getting round. Okay. Now, if the person is having, see, even if I don't hover, there is still a curve over here. See, at the end of eyebrows there is a curve. At the end of eyebrows there is a curve. if there is no curve over here and eyebrows are literally straight like this and it doesn't go down but it also goes straight over here, then it is a straight eyebrow, which is called a unibrow. And when they do like this curve will not appear and it will be like this. Like this. See. Okay, like this. When they do like this, the eyebrows is still going to be like this. Getting it? A literally straight eyebrows. They are called unibrow people. Okay, and the people who are having unibrow are very strong. They are rigid to their persistence. Okay, they are persistent in doing their things. They are very jealous. Okay, I have noticed it that people with unibrow are very jealous kind of people. Okay, because this curve shows your emotional context. Okay, with what context? I am not saying emotional quotient. I am saying the emotional context. In which context the person is emotional in nature. Okay, so if the person is not at all emotional but overly emotional in the self, it makes the person jealous. Okay, when you are jealous of someone else, you are jealous of someone else when you think about yourself and compare it with others. Okay, so being too much emotional to yourself, it is what creates jealousy out of you. Okay, so people with straight unibrow are usually the jealous people. Okay, but they are very good in persistent. Okay, they be persistent on one thing in their life. If they are doing this thing, they are doing this thing every day. Okay, whole life they will be doing the same thing and still they would be persistent. Okay, I think I have to make 2 parts of this videos because this video is going to get bigger and bigger, because I am just giving an introduction to how you see a face. After this we are coming on to a part where I am going to tell you that which nakshatra is giving you what kind of face. Okay, so I am definitely going to talk about like 27 nakshatras and 27 different types of faces. Okay, but before I go on to the ideal way of understanding nakshatras and what kind of face they should be having, first I am giving the characteristics of face reading, because I have seen many astrologers who teach the combination of ascendant lord and the nakshatras, who are telling about nakshatras and their faces, but they don't teach you the basic of face reading. And until and unless you have known the basics of face reading, it is very difficult that you always have to memorize all these things, and it is very also difficult when you go into the practical world. Okay, like being in the YouTube live, being in the Instagram, writing a very big thick book about it. It is very easy, but when your knowledge turns into wisdom, when you teach it in a way that it becomes easier for someone to grab and understand, for that you need to teach them basics. Okay, so here I am today because I am teaching you the basics of face reading. Okay, when you understand the basic of this face reading, after that I can make you understand. Like if I tell you that, see, the people born in the ascendant Lord Ashwini Nakshatra, their first house is Aries with Ashwini Nakshatra, they are having this horse type face. Okay, like long face. Okay. Then my topic ends over here. The person is having long face of Ashwini Nakshatra. But what about the characteristics? So for the characteristics, this is the basic. Now you know the person with long face are having the characteristics of earthly tattva, that is wood, okay, prithvi tattva, and what kind of characteristics they are going to have. After that you will see the forehead of the person. Okay, because even I told you that okay, Ashwini Nakshatra people will have this elongated face. But what next? Don't you want to go into the detailing? So that is why I am teaching you the basics of face reading first. After that I will come to the nakshatras. Okay. So I told you, see, this is the example I am giving you. If I say you that elongated face people are from Ashwini Nakshatra, so you understood about the facial type. But then again you have to see, even in being Ashwini Nakshatra, what are the eyebrows? From eyebrows you can know about how their moon is, how their mindset is, how much emotional they are. Okay. Then you have to see their Ketu, that is your chin, how much self-control they are having. Then you can see the upper cheeks. Okay, this is upper cheeks, this is lower cheek. What is their heart chakra? This is lower cheek. What is their solar plexus chakra, how much amount of authority they will be putting on you, okay, and how much emotional they are. Okay, so this is going to again show you the Saturn. This is again going to show you the Jupiter. Okay, so I am also teaching you the planetary aspects with the nakshatra aspects and with the basics of technical face reading. So I understood that I would again have to make a part 2 because this part 1 is also going to take some time. Okay, so coming to the part, let's run to the part 1 again. Okay, so after getting and knowing the eyebrows, the next thing you have to know is eyes. Okay, so there is nothing. People, they see this is a very wrong conception. When people talk about face reading and everything, people like go into eyes directly, but eyes is really a fourth stage. Okay, you don't see the eyes of a person. I have made this mistake in my own personal life. That is why I am saying, if you go and look at the eyes, okay, so you can get this misconception of the opposite person. Why? Because eyes is the doorway to the soul, and forehead is the doorway to the mind. Now consider, the person is having a very good soul, but their mind is corrupted. So what is the use of the soul? Okay. So I have this experience in my life. Everything I am talking with my own experience. Okay. Less bookish knowledge, more experience. Less Jupiter, more round. Okay. So see, this is a mistake where many people do. Okay, even I have made this mistake. So if you directly peep into someone's eyes and see that their soul is very good, okay, they have a very clean soul, good. But what if their mind is not good? What if this forehead is not good? That means no matter how good soul they are, their mind is going to corrupt them into doing things they should not do. And no matter how good hearted they are, they would be doing wrong things to you, and they would go into the self-pity, self-guilty zone, and then they would be again going into some different genre in their life, and they would be struggling in their life. Why? Because their soul is good. With a good soul, a person can feel self-pity, a person can feel guilt, sorry. But the mind is corrupted, so the mind is not going to give them ability to apologize. Mind is not going to give the ability to change. Mind is going to tell them, be stubborn, tell the world, I am what I am. If you don't like to be with me, do help. That is a corrupted mind. A good soul is again telling the corrupted mind that this is wrong. But a corrupted mind is telling the soul that this is what you are, be what you are. Okay. So this is a perfect example. If sun is bad, but Mercury is good, so your soul is good, but your mind is corrupted. Okay. So it is very much important to know the mind and the soul both of a person. And now, after knowing the mind, now we can go to the soul, that is your eyes. Okay. So eyes are of many types, 2 to 3 types. Okay. So let's talk about eyes first. Okay. After understanding the face, forehead, eyebrows, outline, everything, now we go to the eyes. So for eyes, I would like to remove this, but let's not. First we understand the basics of eyes. Okay. See, if the eyes are very close to each other, by meaning close, I am saying this end. If this end of eyes is very close to each other, okay, like this, and they are very narrow, okay, like this. If you can see from the reflection itself, okay, this is a narrow eyes, okay, and see, if you see, my eyes are naturally narrow eyes. So if you see, a narrow-eyed people are very good in maintaining secrecy. Okay, they are not overly emotional. People with very big eyes are overly emotional. But again, emotions are again watched from your eyeballs. Okay, your eyeballs also play a very big part in emotions. So if you see, my eyeballs are very big. Okay, see, that means that I am emotional from inside. But see the shape of my eyes. They are very narrow, which means it is very hard for anyone to go and peep into my emotional side. It is very hard for anyone to reach my emotional side. Okay, there are very few people in my life who really peeped into my emotional side. Okay, otherwise a narrow-eyed people are very much concentrative in their work. Okay, so if you see my work is occult, my work is meditation. I can sit 4 hours, 5 hours into one position meditating continuously. I can sit in a yagna for around 24 hours. I have myself conducted a yagna for around 12, 24 and 12, 36, around 36 hours I was doing yagna. Okay, so narrow-eyed people get the ability to be concentrative in whatever work they are doing. Okay, they are fully focused. Okay, and narrow-eyed people are also secretive. They always keep your secrets. Okay, but big-eyed people are more emotional. Okay, but for emotions, as I said, you again have to see the eyeballs. Okay, people with narrow eyes and very small eyeball. Okay, consider a person with smaller eyeball than mine and the narrow eyes like me. Then that person is zero emotional and more logical, and that person is not at all emotional. You can't rely on him emotionally. Okay, very low emotions, and narrow eyes make a person concentrative, cunning and intellectual. Okay, so narrow eyes with small eyeballs is very bad. Narrow eyes with big eyeballs is an emotional person, but it is very hard to get on the emotional side of that person. And big eyes is someone who is emotional, and it is also very easy to capture their emotions. Okay, they are very vulnerable people. People with very big eyes are vulnerable in nature. Anyone can play with their emotions and go away. Okay, so people with big eyes like this, they are very much emotional people, and they are also showing off their emotions. Okay, everyone would be knowing that the person is very emotional. Okay, like this person with big eyes. Okay, but again for the emotions, what you have to see? You have to see the upper cheeks. Okay, don't rely on any one thing. Okay, you have to see multiple things at times when you are doing face reading, astrology, anything. If you can't see multiple things at times, you are not made for spiritual things. Okay, you need to be observant enough. Okay, so with big eyes, big eyeballs and very big upper cheeks, the person is very vulnerable. Anyone can grab hold of the emotions. But a person with big eyes, big eyeballs and very less upper cheeks gets emotionally unstable with very few people, but they cannot let go of those people. Now if you see, lower upper cheeks are not very high, but eyes are big and eyeballs are not very big, then the person is not that much emotional, but they have the capacity of holding the emotions of other people. Okay, big eyes, that means the container is big, but small eyeball, the container is big but it is not filled up. Okay, big eyeballs, big container. Sorry, big eyes, big container. The size of eyeballs is the size of emotions. Okay, so big container, small emotions. They have the capacity to hold on to emotions, other emotions, but from inside they are not emotional. Okay, big eyeballs, big upper cheeks, very much emotions. But small eyeballs, that means all the emotions are hidden inside them. It is very hard someone to reach their inner side. Big eyeballs, big eyes and big upper cheeks, totally vulnerable people, totally emotional people, like emotional freaks, I would say. Okay. Then uneven eyes. Uneven eyes means the shape of the eyes is not even. Okay. By the shape I mean this curve. See this curve is like this. Right, so if you notice, some people have the curve like this. Some people is going to have the curve like this. Okay, they would not be having a curve. They would be having the straight line. Okay, then over here also they might not be having a curve. Okay, they might be having an eye like this. Okay, round, or they might be having this rectangular thing over here like this. Okay, so if over here there is not a point. Okay, this is not concave, but this is straight. Or over here the eye ends with like this bulge. Okay, over here there is no this one point, but over here there is a bulge like this. then it is called an uneven eye. And people with uneven eye are good at multitasking. They can see many different perspectives at one time. They can literally step into someone's shoes, as we all say. Okay, and they would be having all these kinds of multitasking abilities. Okay, I really admire those people, because see, you admire people with skills you lack. Okay, so I'm not that much multitasking. I am a progressive thinker. I am a progressive thinker, as you know from my forehead. Okay, so I love people who do multitasking in their life, who have different perspective, who can literally step into someone's shoes. Okay, for me it is very difficult. Okay, that is the theory of admiration. Okay, you admire people with characteristics you don't have. Okay, so people with uneven eyes are those who are like what you say. They do multitasking. They can They can keep the same interest in their family life. They can keep the same interest in their work life. Okay, they are multitasking here and there. They can see the perspective of different people also together. Okay, so people with uneven eyes are like that. Okay, like this. Okay. So next is wide eyes. People with wide eyes are like, you know what is wide eyes? First of all, wide eyes is, there is no steep curve over here. Okay, this eyes become like this. Okay, see man, see, this eyes stay like this over here. Okay, there is no steep curve. Like this. Like this. Okay, the ends of the eyes are not like this, but they are like this. Okay. They are very tolerant people in their life. Very, very tolerant. They have this kind of self-respect. They also respect other people. And if you are finding a partner, especially a girl, if you are a male and finding a girl, then I prefer that you should find a girl who is having this kind of wide eyes, because they are very open-minded first of all, and they are very tolerant. And with open-minded and tolerance, they have this ability that sorry, my mistake. The problem with open-minded the person with wide eyes is they don't have respect. Okay, it was opposite thing. Okay, they are not respectful, they are disrespectful. Okay, sorry, don't choose that partner. Okay, my mistake. See, sometimes in hurry I do blunders. Okay, so people with wide eyes are very disrespectful first of all. Okay, if there is wide eye over here, okay, it is very disrespectful. They are very disrespectful, but they are very open-minded. Okay, so if you see, I won't tell you that if you have a experience or not, but 7 out of 10 call girls, sex workers, okay, are having this type of wide eyes, whose eyes won't be like squeezed. Okay, Mark, if the eyes of a girl is squeezed like this, you can rely on them. Okay, they will also understand respect. Okay, but people with wide eyes are very disrespectful in nature, but they would be very tolerant. And with tolerance, they would be also having this open-mindedness. Okay, they would be like fucking with 10 boys together, and they won't feel bad about it. And even if you are even if they are your spouse, okay, even if they are your boyfriend or girlfriend, they'll be allowing you to do multiple affairs in your life, enjoying multiple bad pleasure like threesomes and everything like that. Okay, so people with wide eyes over here, if they don't have this squeeziness, okay, those people are such people. Okay, if you want to enjoy the part in your life, okay, you are dating and you just want to enjoy the phases of your life, then you can select those people. I don't mind. Okay, but they have this ability of tolerance inside them. Okay, they can tolerate things. That is why they are usually the prey of violence. Okay, because see, when does violence increase? Suppose you are a girl and you are having this abusive boyfriend. Okay, and when is this abusive boyfriend going to be havi on you? That is, when they are going to destroy you with and increase the violence. When you tolerate the violence from the beginning. You slap the girl once, the girl tolerates. You slap the girl second time, the girl tolerates. You abuse the girl 10 times, she tolerates. So the more the tolerance level is there in your life, the more is the risk of getting abused. Because you tolerate things. If you tolerate one time, you are teaching your partner that it is okay. And the partner is always going to increase that thing, no matter how many times you are going to give them chances, how many times you are going to tell them this is right and this is wrong. But no. Okay. So, the more you tolerate, the more you get abused. Okay. And the people with wide eyes are very much tolerant. That is why they are the prey of abuse most of the time. Okay. And the next is upturned eye. Okay. Upturned eye is like me. Okay, my eyes are upturned. With narrow eyes and upturned eye. Upturned eyes means, first of all, this over here, this curve is longer than this curve, and the eyeballs stay above, not exact between, not below, they stay above. Okay. See, this is an upturned eye. Upturned narrow eye. Okay. See, when you are getting into face reading ahead and ahead, you need to always merge things up. Okay. So you have to see whether the eye is upturned and also narrow, or eye is big and also wide. Okay, you have to mix things and see the mixed characteristics of people. Okay, you don't have to see just one thing, that these eyes are big, these eyes are small. You also have to see the eyes and the curves. See the shape of the eyes, then see the curves of the eyes. Okay, then you can see the mixed characteristics of the person. Okay. So this is narrow eyes with upturned eyes. Okay, the eyeballs are up and the eyes are narrow. So the person is secretive, intellectual, and the person with upturned eye are very speculative and observant. Okay, observation is the key. If you want to find a person who is very much observant, okay, see the upturned eye. People with their eyeballs up. Okay, half eyeballs up or the full eyeballs up, and there is space of white space below. Those people are very, very good observant and speculative people. How do you think I am a very good face reader? So, people with upturned eye are very good at observing. They would observe everything. Okay, if you are sitting and doing like this, they would observe this. They would know that this is your thing. Okay, if you are anxious, you will be doing like this. If you are happy in your life, doing like this. Okay, if the hand stretch, the muscles of the hand stretch, you are doing like this, you are happy in your life. If subconsciously you are doing like this, that means you are anxious about something in your life. Okay, I am asking you something which you don't want to answer. That is why your hands and fingers go inward. And when you are nirvik, okay, you are okay. You are more into talk, and you are answering anything what I am saying. At that time, I am knowing that I am knowing that okay, you are very truthful to me, you are frank to me, because your fingers are getting outside. Okay. So whenever the fingers are getting like this, when the person is talking, that person is being totally frank with you. Okay. But even subconsciously, when you are asking the person something, and the fingers go like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, then the person is hiding something from you. Okay. A frank person who is opening the heart towards you, okay, what you say, the open book person, will never do like this when you are talking. Will always be like this. Always be like this. Always be like this. Always be like this. Okay. Now see the politicians sometimes. See Narendra Modi. How he will be speaking. He will be speaking like this. He will be speaking like this. Because he is frank and saying openly what it is. No matter he is a politician, he need to follow the politics. Okay. I know at times he does politics which is not righteous, but it is necessary. But whenever he is speaking out something in public, most of his gestures are like this. And this gesture is what it is like saying it aloud what you mean. Okay, and this gesture is hiding something. Okay, so all these minute things come from observation and speculation. Okay, so the person with upward eye, like this, like me, they are very good at speculating. They are very good at observation. Okay, they observe each and every minute thing about you. So this was the four kind of eyes: wide, narrow, upturned, and uneven, and also closed. Okay. Sometimes you would see the mixed characteristics in the person. Eyes would be also narrow, and they would also be upturned. Okay, like me. Sometimes eyes would be very big, but upturned, like this. Okay, eyes would be very big, but not like this, but like this. Then this is upturned wide eyes. This is upturned narrow eyes. Okay. So you have to see the characteristics and merge the characteristics sometimes. Okay, you just don't have to see the one thing. Okay, learn to see different things and see the combination of things the person is made up of. Okay, see all the minute detail of things. Okay, then you will be always knowing what the person is thinking. Okay, understand a person from 0 to 100. For that you need to merge things. Okay, because person is nobody is made up of one peculiar thing. Everybody is made up of a bunch of things. And for understanding a bunch of things, you need to understand and merge things. You need to merge all the different kind of observations of yours, speculate all the observation and calculate what is the person a merger of. Because the person is the merger of something. Okay. So, after eyes, eyebrows and eyes, now we are going to the nose. Okay. See, some face readers also join this nose with fire element. Okay, and I'm not against it, but see, nose is not fire element. Nostril is fire element. And another also say that okay, nostril is air element because that is where you take air from. See, can't you take air from your mouth? I can. Why can't I say mouth as my air element? Because you don't judge things anywhere like this. Because see, the shape of the nose is fire element. The position of your nostril is air element. The complexion of your face is earth element. And the rate of your breathing is sky element, Akasha. Okay. So now we are going to discuss about nose. Okay. So when we discuss about nose, see, the first thing about nose is, check this out. So the first thing about nose you should know is, nose can be of fleshy type or skinny type. Okay, so see, this is a fleshy nose. Okay, see this. See, if there is lot of fat over here, a big fat ball over here, this is called a fleshy nose. Okay, don't consider the shape of my nose because, technically speaking, I met with an accident when I was like in 10th grade, which is around 10 years ago, and that has damaged my nose. Okay, I have broken my nose bone from over here, and that is why my nose is shaped like this. And the doctor said that you can't fix this bone from over here. That is why don't consider the nose shape over here. My real nose shape is not there with me right now. So just consider the fleshy thing. Okay, the fleshy nose is this nose, like this. When there is a lot of mass over here, it is called a fleshy nose. A person with a fleshy nose is an empath. Okay, you know empathy. They feel the emotions very quickly. Okay, they can know and understand the emotions of other people. Okay. And what they crave the most in their life is warmth. Okay, and who craves for warmth? People with cold heart crave for warmth. People with warm heart crave for cold things. Okay. So fleshy nose is an indicator that the person is empathetic in nature. Okay, if the person is not having this flesh over here, there is a lack of empathy in their life. Okay, first of all. And people with fleshy nose also need kindness in their life. Okay. Because nose is something, see what is the nose? Nose is the void. Okay. So nose basically shows the void inside the person. Okay, a person with fleshy nose has a void of kindness and warmth inside them. So they are seeking it from outside. And second thing, what you can know and understand is that they are literally empaths. They can feel and understand the energy of different people around them. Okay, fleshy nose. Then there is a large nose. Okay. The people with having a very large nose, like consider that over here, the nose is very large till over here. Okay, over here, large nose. It might not be long. Consider half, like over here. Okay, if consider that my nose is still over here, but the thickness of the nose is like over here till over here. Then it is called the large nose. Okay, I have this thing over here. Consider like this. My length of the nose was like this. Length over here and thickness like this. Okay, you can also see this reverse like this. Cut my nose from over here. If my nose from was till here and thickness was like this, then it is called a large nose. People with large nose are violent and angry. The longer the nose, the more the fire element they would be having. But the longer the nose, they would be having self-control. The shorter the nose, the people lack self-control. They are very violent and angry. They can get angry in stupid things. Okay, the people with short nose are very easily angered in their life. Okay, in very stupid things they get angry. Okay, people with shorter nose. Okay, so they must inculcate self-control in their life. They must decrease the violence. Okay, or they must be around someone, or they must choose people who, like what we say, are tolerant in their life. So only then they can be having good partnership. Only then, and partnership of any kind, not just spouse, even business partnership. Okay, because just because a shorter nose make you aggressive and violent person and hyper impulsive, you need someone very patient with you to handle you. Okay, if you choose the same angry and impulsive person, then things are always going to go up and down, up and down. There is no stability in life. Okay. So that is about the shorter nose but large nose person. Okay. Short length, large nose. Okay. Then the fourth is linear nose, equilinear nose. Equilinear nose is, see, the nostrils should not be outside like me. Okay, I don't have this equilinear. Equilinear nose is those who are not having this outward nostril. Okay, the nostrils are not there like this. This is equilinear nose. See, no big nostrils, short nostrils, and the nose is like linearly like this. Okay, so they might be having the nostrils like this, pulled up nostrils, but inside. Okay, not like this. This again becomes a large nose. Okay, those who have this pulled up nostrils, see, like this. Okay, you must have seen many people like this nostrils. Okay, like this. Their nostrils like this. Okay, upward side. This is facing upwards. So these are large nose, violent people, as I said. And people with nostril like this, equilinear nostrils. Okay. These are equilinear nostril people. They are very strong-willed, independent, determined, and free souls. And they would be very adaptive in nature. Okay, and they would always be happy to hear you out. Okay. So equilinear noses are very good. Equilinear noses like this. And last but not the least is upturned nose. Upturned nose, like this. The people who show their nostrils, okay, they don't have this fleshy thing over here. Okay, they would be showing their nostrils. Those people are people pleasers. Okay. They always want to grab attentions. Look at me. watch me, okay, watch me what I do, okay. All kinds of people pleaser things they would be having. If not directly, then indirectly. They want to show off. They want that people should notice them. If you don't notice them, they will be get angry. They want this attention every time. Come on, grab me. Come on, watch me. They must be having this I, me. Okay, because of this upturned nose. This upturned nose increases their sun. Okay, when the person is having very high sun, okay, then they will be having this upturned nose, and this upturned nose is giving them ego. Okay, with very high sun and a debilitated moon. Very high sun and a debilitated moon. Moon is not good. They are not doing good things to gain the attention. They just want the attention, just like the moon wants in darkness. Okay. And sun is very strong, so they need attention. Okay, so the upturned nose like this. Those who are showing up their nostrils, they want attention. Okay, they would be like anchors. They would be somewhere in the profession like that. And if they are not in the profession like those which need spotlight, they will be always demanding spotlight from the people around them, and they always give importance to people who give them spotlight. Okay, like જેને ચણા ચડાવે ને એવા લોકો એને ગમે, જેને હકીકતે જમીન ઉપર લઈ આવે ને એવા લોકો એને ન ગમે. Okay. This is another characteristic of people pleaser. People pleaser are not just people who please people and ask for social approval. They are also people who choose their circle according to who gives them more importance. Okay, that even though those people are giving them more importance and pulling them down, doing bad things to them, they would always be around them because they are getting attention from them. Even when they do bad things, if you praise such kind of people, they will be very happy. Yay, this person is very good. Okay, but that person is not correcting your bloody false things. Okay, so that was people pleasing. And coming to the mouth now. Okay, after nose, now we have to come to the mouth. See, mouth is a very different characteristics. Okay, because in this we have to also consider the upper lip and lower lip. Okay, in our shastras, in our Hindu shastras also it is said that that a girl with a bigger upper lip is having very hard time to control herself. Okay, and a girl with a bigger lower lip is having a good time. Okay, she can be self-tolerant, she can be secretive in nature. Okay, the person with bigger upper lip, okay, now I am coming to person, not just girl. Bigger upper lip cannot keep your secrets. Okay, listen very carefully. If you tell your secrets to the person with bigger upper lip, it is a very high risk that it is going to go out. But if you tell secrets to a person with bigger lower lip, then the person is likely to sustain your secret. Okay. Then coming to the shape of our mouth. If the mouth is small and bent, okay. See, consider my mouth. My mouth is small and bent. Okay, it is not like this. Ha ha ha. I don't really like this. Okay. My basic tendency is to be like this. Small and bent. Okay, it is bent. It is not like this. Okay. It doesn't be like this basically. It is like this, slightly bent. So this person is having highly feminine energy inside them. They are radiating more feminine energy. Okay. And person with a very big mouth which is not bent like this. Okay, straight mouth which is not bent. They are having masculine energy. Okay, this is feminine. This is masculine. Don't consider the upper cheeks. Just because I don't have this straight mouth, I am trying to make the mouth straight. That is why these upper cheeks are coming. Okay, forget this. Okay, just focus over here. This is straight mouth. Person with higher masculine character. This is bent mouth. Person with higher feminine character. Okay. And this is trout. Okay. A trout mouth is like that. Okay, this is trout. The mouth, see, this is trout. Then you have this length over here. Okay, if the upper lip and lower lip attains a length over here, like this. See, there is length now. If the person is naturally like this, the lips of the person are naturally like this, which are attaining this kind of length, then that person is very generous and communicative. Okay, they are very much communicative. They cannot hold their secrets. Okay, but they are very generous in nature. Okay, they are known for their generosity. Okay. So if you see very big charity holders, those people who do charity, they will be having this trout lips, okay, like this. Okay, they will be having this length over here. Getting it? Then thin upper lip and thick lower lip, like this. Okay, these people are very low in reciprocation. Okay, when you say something to them, it is very hard time for them to respond. Okay, reciprocate. They would keep their feelings inside them. They can't reciprocate. They need to push very hard to reciprocate. Okay, if they are done something wrong to them, you need to push them harder to speak. Okay, dude, speak up. Like this. Lower lip is very big. Upper lip is very small. Low reciprocity. Okay. Take the opposite example. And again, don't see my face. Just see my lips. Okay. This is low reciprocity. Getting everyone? Next is opposite. Person with very big upper lip and very low lower lip are a bad luck person. I'm sorry I'm saying this on the video. I don't want to make you guys feel bad, but you have some amount of bad luck inside you. Okay, for that, if you want to clear that bad luck, you should wear a Jupiter ring over here. If you are a girl, wear it in the right hand. If you are a boy, wear it in the left hand. Okay, radiate out your Jupiter, otherwise you are a very big bad luck. Okay, see, if I am going to speak negative things in my video, I am going to give remedies at that point so that I don't get attached to that karma. Okay. See, I also said the bad thing, but I also gave you the remedy. Big upper lip, wear a Pukhraj. If you are a girl, wear it in right hand. If you are a boy, wear it in left hand. Radiate your Jupiter out. Okay. So, this bad luck and very show off kind of person. Okay, they are very show off. They show off very, very much. Okay, they always like to overdress themselves, wear this makeup, and they want to show off everything. I bought a new car. Yee. I bought a new dog. Yee. Okay, show off kind of person. Then, loving and sensitive. If the person is loving and sensitive, their lips would be rounded lips. Okay. Not like this, but still rounded. You see, some people would be having rounded lips like this. Lips are rounded, and they wouldn't be having this crease. Even though they would be having this middle crease only. Okay. So rounded lips. Okay, totally round. I can't make like this, but rounded lips. Okay, people with rounded lips are very good. They are lovable. They are sensitive, and I would say they would make the best partners of all. Rounded lips. No matter the size. Okay, if the size is upper lip is even bigger, but it is rounded. Okay, there emotionally they would always be stable. Okay, rounded lips. Then Then comes thin lips. Okay, thin lips. No lips kind of thing. Thin lips, no lips. Total egocentric person. Total egocentric. Everything they would think, I, me, myself. Okay, remove your ego. Because that person would be totally egocentric. They always want to think about themselves. They would be thinking about their benefits. Okay, mera kya fayda? Okay. Always in everything they would do all those things where they would be feeling beneficial. If they don't feel beneficial, they would not be doing this thing. Okay, even in relationships, even in friendships, everywhere in life. Okay, people with thin lips. Okay, and now talking about optimism and pessimism. Okay, you should also see the optimism and pessimism from the curves of the lips. Okay, so if the person is like this, okay, this is the sign of optimistic person. If this curve is going upwards, okay, that is why a happy person is optimistic, and that is why he smiles. If the curve is going downwards, the person is more pessimistic and thinks negative things more than the positive things. Okay, but I am not saying a pessimistic person is wrong or an optimistic person is right. Everything it is based on what you are doing in your current life. Okay, see, if you are working in the share market, okay, if you are doing brokerage, if you are working with the up and down of shares, you are doing intraday, if you don't have that self-critic and pessimistic nature inside you, all your money is going to go. So it is necessary for you to be pessimist if you are doing into share market. Okay, so if you see a person with this kind of lips, okay, optimistic lips, okay, and they ask you that should I go into share market, okay, don't see their chart, don't see astrology, don't do anything, just tell them no. Because no matter they would be having money, they would be having that luck, they would be having fortune, they are definitely going to lose because they don't have this pessimistic thinking. Okay, and people with the lower curve like this, mine is not that much, but you can see people with having this lower curve like this also. Okay, like this. They are a very self-critic person and they are a pessimistic person like this. And such person are critical person. They always do criticize things and they are very good for share market. Why? Because this is giving them pessimistic thinking, which means they can think where they can go wrong, and a person is doing a career where it is more necessary to think where you can go wrong. Okay, so see, pessimism and optimism are good at the different parts of your life. Okay, so this is it. This was the basic about face reading. In the part 2 of the same video, I am going to show you all the different nakshatras, and going to tell you that what is the shape and nature of a person according to the nakshatra. Okay, and I am also going to give you some tips about watching the self-confidence, loyalty, determination, character, everything from the face itself. Okay, so the second part would be like more advanced to the first part. This was the first part, which was basic, in which I taught all the basic things. In the second part, I am not going to tell all these basic things. I just say that the person of Ashwini Nakshatra is going to have oblongated face and Prithvi Tattva greater. Whatever it is, whatever it means, I have taught you in this first video. Okay, so you need to see this first video in order to understand the second video. Okay, in that I will just say the person is going to have the upward curve in the lips. If I say the upward curve, you have to understand from this first video that he is optimistic person. If I say that the person is going to have a thick nose, you have to understand this from the first video that he is empathetic. If I say the person is having no lips or very less lips, you have to understand from this first video that the person is egocentric. Okay, so watch this first video as a basic, and the second video is coming up as the advance of this video, and I am going to tell you the advanced features of face recognition and what is happening in the mindset of that person. Okay. So it was very nice talking with you about a very deep, what you say, speculating information about face reading. Coming back tomorrow with the advanced learning of face reading. Okay, thank you very much.